News Flash 1. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado held her first meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House, symbolically presenting him with her Nobel Peace Prize medal in recognition of his commitment to the freedom of the Venezuelan people. She said the two discussed political repression, the humanitarian crisis, and hopes for a democratic transition. Machado said she was impressed by Trump's understanding of the situation and noted that more than 90% of Venezuelans want to live in freedom and dignity. Newsflash 2. Sources say the Trump administration has imposed a 25% national security tariff on certain high-end semiconductors as a Phase 1 measure to protect the industry. Further announcements could follow after negotiations with other countries and companies. Newsflash 3. The United States and Taiwan have reached a trade agreement that lowers tariffs on most Taiwanese exports to 15% and encourages chipmakers such as TSMC to expand production in the U.S. In return, Taiwan's tech sector will invest at least $250 billion in the United States, with the Taiwanese government providing matching credit guarantees. The deal still requires approval by Taiwan's parliament and could be affected by an upcoming U.S. Supreme Court ruling on tariffs. Newsflash 4. Senior U.S. State Department officials warned Cuba not to interfere with $3 million in U.S. humanitarian aid, saying President Trump could take action if there is obstruction. The aid was pledged after Hurricane Melissa but was delivered months later, raising Cuban concerns over U.S. motives. Cuba criticized the move as political manipulation, but said it would accept the aid and ensure proper distribution. Newsflash 5. Protests erupted outside the U.S. Embassy in Bogotá against U.S. policy toward Venezuela, with demonstrators burning an effigy of President Trump and the American flag. Protesters accused the USS of imperialist intervention in Latin America, and some openly expressed support for Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Newsflash 6. White House spokeswoman Karoline Leavitt said deploying European troops to Greenland would not affect President Trump's decision-making or his goal of acquiring the territory. She warned that such moves would not change the administration's position on Greenland. Newsflash 7. A Turkish Airlines flight from Istanbul to Barcelona made an emergency landing after a false bomb threat was triggered by a passenger, creating an in-flight internet hotspot with a threatening name. Authorities found no explosives after a full inspection. Airport operations were not disrupted, and Spanish police have launched an investigation